What is going on YouTube? It is Primitive here and welcome to round 3 of the store championships that happened at level 7 games yesterday on the 18th. This is going to be between myself, who is on the right. I am playing LordKnightmon, versus my opponent, who is playing Green Raflasiamon. My opponent is a bit newer, so props to him on getting to 2-0 at this point going into round 3. But you will see going forward that there will be some plays that are declared but will be taken back because my opponent doesn't know all the effects of the cards, and since he is a new player, it is a local, I'm not too worried about it. I was just going to go ahead and go with it, so you may see some stuff like that. I build up into Knightmon early and promote. There's not very much pressure on my opponent's side of the board, so I feel pretty good on just bringing out Knightmon, so that way I can hatch next turn and get the cycle with the rookie. I will be able to just build back up. My hand is looking pretty good. I just Digivolve into Knightmon since my opponent still will go to 3 memory, but they only have 2 rookies, so I don't think they're going to be able to do anything that will get rid of my Lord Knight, so I can just put it there, have it there next turn, play my Knightmon out of my hand, and have a good start going forward. My opponent does have the Weedmon in hand, so he can Digivolve here. He does ask to see the Starmons right here. Not 100% sure what the card does. I told him he could read whatever card he needs to read, or see whatever cards he does so he can know what's going on the board. No problem at all for me. His thinking, I don't think he has too many options besides going into the Weedmon and then Digivolving into an Ultimate. Likely going to want to build up in raising here. Just makes most sense with LordKnightmon on board. I do threaten to just clear a lot on board because I could have Valderarm in hand, I could have Slash in hand, so goes up to Lilamon. I don't really want to attack here just because my opponent is now threatening a potential Nidhogg with that Lilamon in the bench. But in my hand, I'm currently not hitting champions, so I promote the Starmons. Even though it does play into it, I need to be able to hatch next turn and cycle. With LordKnightmon playing the Knightmon, I can threaten to go into another Mega next turn, and I just play the Cutemon so that way he can't HPD me. And if he is going to Nidhogg, then at least he has to do it for the full 5. I do believe I have Valderarm in hand, so if my opponent doesn't get rid of my Knightmon here, then they're likely just going to get their boards cleared because I'll be able to swing with LordKnightmon again, get out something else, Valderarm, clear off both of their Digimon, or 2 of their Digimon if they decide to play another one. And I just have all these other Digimon on board that I can swing in, get extra checks in, and just threaten a quick game-ending swing. My opponent's thinking about what to do. He has a couple options, doesn't really want to play the Mimi, it's not the best use of memory right here, so just decides to go with Hercule Kabuterimon after a little bit of thought. No Mega, so that right there indicated to me that there was no Mega, and if there was a Nidhogg, it was going to come out right there, so I can play this turn knowing that there's no Nidhogg in hand right now, or if there is, it was just drawn off the Hercule Kabuterimon, but I can play around no Nidhogg coming out. I decided to play around Needle Spray in security though, so that way instead of playing Bushi and swinging out a bunch, I am going to go for a more defensive turn by playing Lucamon to recover, going with the Slash to clear the Lilamon. So now I have a huge board to what my opponent has as a little tiny board. They revealed to me last turn that they don't have a Mega, so they have to draw into it to be able to get it. My opponent is also very emotive and very expressive with his face, so I knew every single time he drew a card whether or not he drew what he wanted. In this spot, I knew that I was pretty safe. Some players you can play off of their emotions and know, like right here, he starts laughing and said something like, "Oh, finally!" So now I know that there is a Mega in hand. I don't know if it's Nidhogg, I don't know if it's Flasia, but I do see now. Gonna Digiburst, puts a few of my Digimon to the bottom of my deck, which is unfortunate because now we don't fully threaten lethal, but what my opponent doesn't know is that I do have Blinding Ray Bushi in hand, so I decide to just swing out. If my opponent has Needle Spray, then they have Needle Spray, and I swing with Slash last, so that way if they Needle Spray and hit my Slash, then I can Valderarm on top of the Slash and clear the Nidhogg. So that seals up game 1. My opponent chooses to go first here, and we'll go Tentomon. Goes into Mimi. I'm not too mad about seeing Mimi turn 1 because I do have my TK, so I can pull out a rookie because I am missing a rookie, and this just makes it so I don't have to just TK pass. I can play the TK, get the Bushi, and then Digivolve into the Uni. My opponent, looking at his hand, I don't believe has a champion, which is going to be pretty bad because I'm going to be able to go all the way up to Mega here soon, especially with TK. I can threaten Slash at almost any single point, and going up into LK is going to be pretty free, just like last game how my opponent early game didn't have a lot of pressure. He's either going to have no pressure here, or they're going to have to hard play something that's going to be pretty high memory. So as we see, hard play for 7, so I do go to 4, so not the worst play. I only gain 1 extra memory out of this play as to where I would have gotten with TK. Go ahead and promote here because I'm not too worried about my opponent going into Nidhogg because it is an Unimon, and this way I can hatch next turn, put a rookie on there, and cycle. I was at 4, so playing Knightmon here puts my opponent to the 3 that they're going to go anyway, clears one of their Digimon, and I know that they're not going to be able to Nidhogg away either of my Digimon, so I'm not too worried about my Knightmon going away. I don't think they're going to be able to do it without some Needle Spray stuff, and even then I'll be able to block with Unimon, so I'll be able to threaten LordKnightmon next turn now this way. And my opponent, as I said, is very expressive with this, so I'm able to play this a bit more loosely because my opponent is basically telling me not exactly what his hand is, but he's telling me that it's filled with like level 5s and stuff. So I can rest in solace. Right now I don't think he has any Megas in hand. I remember him saying a lot about Ultimates, so I didn't think he had any Megas in hand. As we see now, he does have the Grand Kawagamon. It's just not super useful due to not being able to Digiburst, but it could be better than just hard playing these Ultimates like have been with the past 2 Ultimates. Going to Andromon and raising, I guess I don't have the Mega here, or else I probably would have gone into it there, but setting up Andromon makes it so I will be able to more easily threaten with the Bushis and the Lucamon. So it's not too bad. Having 2 Ultimates on board makes it so if they clear 1, I'll be able to go into Mega. But my opponent just doesn't have the best hand. Goes ahead and Digivolves into Terriermon. Doesn't play it on there, so I don't have to worry about my Blinding Rays going away because they're more than likely going to want to Digivolve on top of that Terriermon if they find a champion. But I don't think my opponent's really thinking about that because they have been just talking about their Ultimates, talking about how he's hard played the most Ultimates of all time, is what we were joking about. Valdararm is going to clear the 2. So now my opponent just has a Terriermon. I have Ultimate, I have a champion, I have a rookie. I pretty much have everything to be able to play anything in any scenario that I want. My opponent just has the Terriermon. Yeah, it's going to shut down my Blinding Rays for a little bit, but the chances that Terriermon lives for more than 1, maybe 2 turns is pretty low. Too much DP reduction. Once I hit LordKnightmon on top of this Knightmon, I'm going to have such a large advantage that I don't think the green can really get back to it at this point as long as I play around Nidhogg. My opponent pretty much has let me just be ahead this whole time. Not really by their own will, but just the fact that their hand has been mostly Ultimates. I've been able to just freely do stuff. My opponent right here is about to try to meme me. That's me telling him that he needs a level 5 in play to be able to meme me. So, the funny thing is he was like, I can salvage this, and he said, never mind, I can't salvage this. He can go into the Grand Kawaga in raising. We'll threaten it next turn, but I'll be able to set up and play around it because I have the Unimon. I can go into Pidomon on top of Starmon or another Unimon. Hatch the Pikmon and Digivolve into Pulsemon. I see I have the LordKnightmon there. It's probably best to just play that and start getting this going. If I swing into Nidhogg a little bit, it's not the worst because I'll be able to play around it. I decided to stop there because if I get Nidhogged and lose LordKnight and Valdararm, it's not the worst. Now obviously that doesn't make a lot of sense because my opponent can't threaten a Nidhogg on board with their level 6, but when playing green I pretty much always try to play around Nidhogg a little bit, and with Mimi out you never know what crazy shenanigans may happen. My opponent promotes the Grand Kawaga. I do have the Unimon which can block. I did make a little cut right here because this was a bit of a long turn as my opponent decided what to do with their Digiburst. Gains a memory with Weedmon, gonna gain 2000 with the Yokomon. Puts Grand Kawaga at 13k DP, but my LordKnightmon is at 14k, but with the Palmon, it will go up to 15k if he does declare to target my LordKnightmon. I did forget about Palmon's effect at the time, so I was telling him that I was at 14, he's at 13, but then I was like, yep, you have the Palmon, so he is gonna block here. And then my opponent is still at 4, so there's a lot they can do, but looking at their hand, there's nothing they can do. So I'm kind of worried going into this right now because my opponent's at 4. I figured he could do something crazy. He plays HPD and goes into Valderarm, but that's when I was like, wait, I think you have to suspend it. So my opponent doesn't have a Digimon suspend, so can't HPD there. Would have went into Valderarm, which would have cleared off most likely my Lord Knight. I don't think they would Valderarm the Chaos and give me the extra 3. So just gonna Digivolve straight up, get rid of the Lord Knight, puts me to 3. My opponent only has 2 checks, and yeah, he scoops up right there. I show him that I Digivolve LordKnightmon, can play the Bushimon off the swing. So with that being said, I will take that 2-0 and move on to the finals, which I will have posted here shortly on the channel. So I hope you have a great day. I will see you soon. Peace out.